everybody. Well, I've never done an intro in the bathroom before, but this week we're going to be finishing up the electrical and the plumbing inside the villas. And this was jobs that I was responsible for. So it's all on me to get this all finished so we can keep the villas moving forward.
We're Dooglass and Esperanza. After seeing too many people in our lives taken before they could enjoy their lifetime of hard work, I left my engineering career and we sold our house and most of our belongings. Now we are starting a new adventure, building a resort in the magical town of Loreto in Baja California Sur, Mexico. We're putting everything on the line to make our dreams a reality so that we can live before we die.
Okay, so the first thing I have to do is to clean out these receptacle holes. They're filled with foam. I use my shop vac. Here you go, action. Okay, now that the box is cleaned out, I'm going to use this, get a little closer here. I'm going to clear out the holes here for that you need to mount to. So there's a hole on the top and the bottom. The bottom one actually was open. Most of the time they're not. And then I have to chip out the plaster and concrete above until I can get this top hole, because these are the screw holes that you're going to mount the receptacle or switch into. Okay, so you can see the thing is out, or the box is cleaned out. There's a hole down here and a hole up here, which I got open so I can use. Now I just need to clean out all the rest of the boxes all around here, and then we can start pulling wire. I've got all of the receptacles and switch boxes all cleaned out and all the screw holes cleaned out on them. And now I've got to get these can lights cleaned out, because when I put a can in here, it's got to be out to the edge of the can. So I've got to break off all this extra plaster and get these things all cleaned out, ready to go before I start pulling wire. All right, I'm going to use this painter tool to scrape the plaster off, and my vacuum so I don't make a huge mess. All right, and that had something happen I didn't want to happen, which was to break out some extra. I lost some plaster right here in this little edge. See right here? And hopefully the trim on the can lights covers that. If not, I have to repair it. It's been a long day today. I started working at 4 a.m. As I said, it's around 5:30 right now, and it was 100 degrees today, maybe over 100 degrees. I know it was at least 100 because I had to run to the store to get some stuff, and the thermometer in my car said 100. And I have been working out here all day. What's that? 13 and a half hours. And I got up early at 4 o'clock because I thought, oh, it's going to be cooler at 4 o'clock in the morning. 83 degrees at 4 o'clock in the morning. So if you come to Loreto in the summer, just know you got to be able to take the heat, because it is hot and it does not get cool ever. It won't be cool again until October. So for the next 3 months, it's going to be like this. 95 to 100 during the day, 80 to 85, maybe even 90 at night. I'm excited that I've got to the point that I'm used to it enough that I can work 13 and a half hours in this heat all day long. I haven't been in the air conditioning. I have been in the shade, so I haven't been working directly in the sun, but work all day in this heat and I'm doing good. I drank a lot of water, 2 gallons of water today. What are you gonna do? You just gotta work. So tomorrow I'll be back at it. Electrical in here. I have almost all the finished electrical done. There's a few things I have to leave until after tile and other stuff get done, but mostly it's done. So you can see up above me, we have can lights in the kitchen. There's a fan and can lights in the living room area. All the receptacles and switches are in. Everything's in. I don't have faceplates on yet because there's a lot of this stuff. So this run from here to here had a bunch of concrete in it. So they had to end up putting acid down there and then end up with acid burn stains all over the concrete on the wall. So the plaster on the wall. So this is gonna have to be fixed. That's why I don't have any faceplates on here. Almost every one of these outlets is gonna have to be cleaned and or touched up paint. So I didn't put any faceplates on, but I have them all, so ready to go. And then in here, same thing, outlets are ready to go. Plug the switches, have a timer switch for the fan. Can lights are in the bedroom again, can lights are in, fans in, switches and plugs. And I have the panel done. And I always like to keep the panel really clean. I see this kind of like the icing on the cake when you usually do it at the end after everything else is done and you wire up the panel. And to me, it's just really nice to have this panel all done really neatly and organized. It's a work of art. Okay, I'm starting here on finished plumbing today. And unfortunately, we were going to use the toilets that we got from our salvage operation. We got 4 toilets. One of the toilets got broken in our storage, so we had 3 toilets, but we still had 2 toilets to do here and one that we're going to put into the maintenance building. But I went and looked at those toilets and they weren't really used. I don't know if they were ever used or they were hardly ever used, but they were hooked up to water and they had water to them for a long period of time. And I think they sat there and leaked for a long period of time. I think the valves in the toilets eventually started leaking, so they were running all the time. And the toilets had huge rust stains down the bowl and huge calcium deposits down the bowl. And I looked at trying to get that rust off, and that rust is just so hard to get out of the toilet without damaging it. So I said, I don't want this junk. We want this to look awesome in here. So I went and got some new toilets. I got kind of an upgraded integrated tank, 1-piece toilet. A little less worry because you don't have the gasket in between the toilet and the tank, so less maintenance to worry about. These are high quality toilets and they have a high quality updated flush system, which is good because our toilet, we got a cheap toilet for our bathroom up in the shop, and it has basically the 50-year-old, bulb valve flush system, and it does not work very good. So I'm on maintenance free. I don't want to have to be down here fixing toilets all the time. All of the piping is PVC or CPVC, depending on if it's hot or cold. This is cold, so it's PVC. course, it's got a lot of junk on it, plaster, cement, other stuff. So before we get started, I've cut it off, but need to get it cleaned, all this bulk stuff off here. So first step, we'll glue this on. They don't use primer down here a lot of the time. I always use primer. Especially when stuff has been dirty like this. And we'll put some glue on it, both sides. And then put the cap on. Now that's going to get, I'm taking the extra glue off, but this is going to get painted anyway, so it really doesn't matter if there's a little bit of glue on there, because you won't be able to see it. I know that they make clear glue, and people use clear glue, I think, that has a primer in it. Maybe they gotta have it down here, but I've not seen it. And so this is what I got to work with. Then, whenever I do a plastic to metal connection, and by the way, I always use metal quarter turn valves. The quarter turn valves are a ball valve or a cylinder valve. They work a lot better. They don't seize up like the gate valves do that you have to screw a whole bunch of times, and they're a much better solution that's longer lasting. So this is a good valve, but it's metal. You're connecting it to plastic, and for that I usually use this pipe thread sealant. Then again, I haven't seen this in the US. In Mexico. I got it from the US. I could probably order it on Amazon if I wanted it down here. But this is, in my experience, the best thing to do connections between metal and plastic threads. The tape just does not work very good. I gum up the valve, and then we put on the and there we go. Next we are going to cut down the pipe for the toilet, the drain pipe. And we got to get this mortar this grout that was all around here out. So we have a flat surface here for the flange to mount on. Okay, I'm going to use an oscillating saw to cut this off. You see I'm wearing safety glasses and earmuffs, hearing protection, because this thing is unbelievably loud when it's cutting. It's a very loud tool, and it does throw stuff out, so we should wear both safety glasses and hearing protection. Now, how this works is it oscillates back and forth very quickly, and that cuts. This is an invaluable tool for woodworking, especially cabinetry, installing cabinets, getting into tight places and being able to cut stuff in tight places. All kinds of different saws, jig saws, circular saws, saber saws. Most of them cannot get into tight places and do cuts. So this is the best. And it's really good getting flat to a surface and cutting right along the surface. So it's really good for this. Let's get this thing done. So you can see here, this made a really nice cut, super flush to down to the tile. Let's try out this toilet flange. So you want to line it up so that these slots are on the side, because that's where you can adjust the toilet a little bit. This has a slot in the front and the back that kind of help you. That is like a very good seal down in there. So I got these holes drilled to the tile. I used a concrete bit, and you do need some water when you're going through the tile. Not the concrete, because that's fine without water, but the tile gets really, really hot when you're trying to do it, and it will heat up the bit a lot and wreck the bit. So next we're going to put these anchors that came in here into these holes and tap them down. Make sure not to hit too hard and break the tile. Okay, let's get this in here. Get it over the holes. Hopefully all the holes are in the right place. They look like they're pretty close. And then we'll just see if we can. I'm going to put them all in just a little bit before I tighten them down, in case it needs to shift a little bit. Make sure it's in and it's all flat. It is. And we'll screw it down here. Oh yeah, that's fine. I thought I forgot to put the bolt in there, but the bolt can go into the slot later. Okay. Now this thing is down here. It is tight to the floor. So when the toilet's attached to it, the toilet's not going to tip over if you like tip over on the toilet. And then you put in your screw or your bolt on this side and this side. And then there's these plastic washers. Now, every toilet kit in the store came with these plastic bolts. I'm not 100% sold on these yet. I don't like plastic, but this is a wet location. This location, because of cleaning, because of toilet sweating, gets wet all the time. And these bolts are always rusted, like really rusted when you go to take an old toilet out. And so maybe they've gone to this plastic because it's better and it doesn't rust. The good thing is, if this does rust and the toilet gets wobbly, I can just pull the toilet off, and I don't have a wax ring with this one, so it's really easy. Just pull the toilet off, take these two bolts off, pull the toilet off, and then you can pull these out and put in some metal ones if you had to. So I'm gonna use them, and hopefully they'll last. So next, you just get the toilet above the hole, line up the screws, this one on this side, this one on this side, on the screws, and then you can move your toilet around to adjust it. Let's hope this toilet's gonna fit. That screws on, that screws on. So just these little plastic nuts, go on here, and they actually have a big washer on them that covers the slot, so that's gonna look nice. You know, the nice thing about working on the toilet is when it's brand new, it's not nasty. Don't want to do it too much because it'll probably break, but there we go, about a quarter turn. All right, let's check this out. Rock solid. Perfect. Okay, and lastly here, on a job site, the most important thing to do with this toilet, make sure that people know you're not supposed to use it. People see a toilet on the job site, and next thing you know, they're gonna start using it. And the sewer isn't even hooked up yet. So if people use this toilet, that would not be a good deal. So we will just make a universal sign that this toilet is not operational. Okay, that should be pretty clear. Toilet's not operational, don't use it. I put the stuff on here so people couldn't try it out, but yeah, this thing is solid, nice. All right, last thing, this is kind of funny. This toilet, I don't know if you can see this. You see the name of the toilet? The Corona. And with all the coronavirus problems we've had, I don't know if it's a good idea to put a Corona toilet in, but oh well. It looked like a good toilet, so we're gonna go with it. All right, villain number 2. We are ready to use the toilet as soon as we get it hooked up, but at least it's plumbed up. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you guys really liked this video, and maybe hopefully you learned something about installing a toilet or putting in some light fixtures. We are getting close to catching up to real time. I think we're gonna make it in the next video. So you are seeing it as it happens from then on. All right, thanks again for watching, and never forget to live before you die.